Hello, everybody. Welcome to ZK Live. My name is Zach Kenney. I own ZK Painting, and this is our it's 3 times a week live show right now. It's about to go to 2 times a week because this is getting to be a lot. But really excited. We have Chris Polidoro from Shoreline Painting on. My God, let's go!
We're in.
Man, they don't make it easy.
That's it.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. First thing, did you win your match?
Of course.
Let's go.
Of course.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So, this is Chris Polidoro. Tell us about yourself.
Wow. All right. So Chris Polidoro, I'm 33 years old. Operate Shoreline Painting and Drywall out of Connecticut. We have an office in New York City. Run about 80 men right now. Big golfer. Love to golf. Yeah.
How did you get started in the business?
I got dragged in. Father had a painting company, had nothing, I wanted nothing to do with it. Went to school in South Florida, hospitality management, worked at a Waldorf Astoria for a little bit, stopped that, started a car wash, sold my car wash down there. And my dad was begging me to come up back to Connecticut and help him with the business. We were running like 15 men at the time. Back in the day, he had a huge company, 150 plus guys, non-union, high-end residential, and then just scaled it down over the years. And when I came in, he was running 15 men, really one crew, job to job, and yeah, that's how I got started.
So you live in one of the premier markets in the country, right? Greenwich,
Yeah,
New York City.
Yep.
There's a lot of money and a lot of people who want nice things, right?
Yeah. Average home, that we're working on is 5 million up usually. Yeah, it's definitely a very high end market. We have 5 major towns in Fairfield County, and then really all of Westchester, all the way down to the city is, and then we have Manhattan, which we've expanded into.
So, but because with that also comes a very competitive market, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's tons of painters, and I'm sure like there's tons of painters like everywhere else, but we have some good firms out here. 20 to 30 man crews that can compete. Decent quality. There's no one that really blows me away besides Manhattan. So I kind of got that cornered, but yeah. That's my nephew Carmine, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah. So yeah.
That's interesting. So I know, like you said, 15 guys. You said your dad had a 15-man crew, like a 15-man team, and it was essentially one crew.
Yeah.
Explain how that works, because that is not very common in the residential world.
Yeah, and that's kind of, we're definitely not a common contractor. When we're going to new construction projects, we're not sending a 4-man team. So the way he was doing it, basically, he had one manager, 2 vans, and, they would just go pretty much job to job. And he was known to, blitz houses. Obviously, if you have a 15-man crew, you're moving through pretty quick. He wasn't a good schedule either. So he was basically from his, he was down to his car and his phone and really no office out of the house. And he was just, he was running them that way. I remember growing up, going to his office. He had a, huge office in Stamford, Connecticut, tons of trucks. And, I think he just had it with the contractor world and, basically went down to a couple contractors and homeowners.
That's interesting. So what would you say your dad's biggest strengths and weaknesses were? Like what helped him get there? And then what did you have to, where did you come in to sort of
alter? I was younger, so I really wasn't too involved, but he was one of the best salesmen I ever met. Hands down. Just a real personable guy. So if you started using him, you just weren't using anyone else. And yeah, and then his weaknesses was, listen, he used a computer, he was, handwriting estimates, things that I thought were just crazy, but yeah, listen, he asked me to come up and kind of streamline the business and, basically wanted, his legacy to live on. And, I took it over.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that idea of 15 guys on one crew, like it blows my mind. How does that, like, how do your projects go when from the time you sell a job, how does your schedule work, and how are you able to manage people and get things done with that kind of like stuff happening? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, so we're pretty set up that way. So we use Builder Trend, which is a software. A lot of builders use it, to manage their subs and clients, invoicing, whatever. We basically just use it for internal communication. So we've been using it for 2 years. We haven't let our clients on the platform. So we basically use that as an internal software. I have one person that controls it. From us, we schedule through there also. And yeah, so I basically have a client relations manager that manages that. And she's like a liaison between sales, operations, and our office staff. She's got a pretty big job.
How many salespeople?
We're 3 right now. We're 4 down to 3.
Okay. So 3 people sell the job. The job gets sold. Then what happens?
Job gets sold. Deposit requested. Job doesn't go on our schedule without deposit unless it's a client that we've been working with for years, or it's a 30-day AIA rec or something like that. From a homeowner standpoint, we're basically job gets sold, accepted on our software. We'll alert Allison. Allison basically sets it up in Builder's Trend, T-sheets, so basically all the legwork's done. We also have a production intake form that the sales guy is responsible for. Basically, porta potty needed on site, scale of 1 to 10, client, we have this whole thing that I can share with you if you'd like. Actually, John Shear from Shear Painting hooked me up with that. Great tool. And so basically we implement that. Office sends the deposit. Once we get the deposit, we're put on the schedule.
Okay, so then the estimator then like sort of says, here's how many hours, here's like all the stuff that's going to get.
Yeah, so in our production intake form, we'll have man day, man hour, material budget, obviously address, parking, where are we unloading, anything specific that the, operations team would need to be successful in starting the project. Bigger project, we'll walk one of our field managers or director of operations through, if we need to. I think we're at a point now, though, with our director of operations. He's been with us 25 years. He was basically with my father as well. He's definitely the GOAT. Don't know if I'd want to do this without him. So he gets it at this point, so unless it's something super specialized that I want to walk the team through, and other than that, it's basically production intake form, conversation, could be a conversation, but Allison really bridges that gap. My client relations manager.
Okay.
Yeah. Hired my mother last year, which was a great move.
What does she do?
She is my COO. Came from corporate America, 25 years, worked for Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. She ran technology globally. So she's basically streamlined a lot of stuff for us. So that was a great move that I did. And she's thrilled. I'm happy working with her. So it's been a blessing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the operations manager guy.
Yeah, so Antonio, been with the company 25 years. He successfully manages 4 field managers, 12 site managers, and about 80 men.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's good.
So he then, like, the schedule comes up, he sees the job is coming, like, he's planning in advance. He's trying to stay ahead of the game for everybody.
Yeah, so basically, I guess we're set up. Let me give you a little background. So basically, my shop, I had a huge shop. You've seen it. We got about 10,000 square feet. We have a full inventory system downstairs. I have a shop manager that just controls this inventory. He's the only one basically in and out of the basement. So, job comes in, whatever you need, all your sundries are pulled the night before, ready for the site manager to, load in the truck and go. So he's got it down like that. He's pretty organized. But yeah, I mean, it's, our challenge is we have about 12 site managers right now, and we have more than 12 jobs going, so the field managers need to step in at some points. So even the sales guys sometimes, especially me. I mean, I'm selling 5 million myself a year. So I have a lot of jobs on a daily basis that I've sold, that I have to kind of step in sometimes. But this year's actually been, I would say, our best year yet. I mean, smooth. I really don't have a lot of stress. I was just telling my brother-in-law. It's been a pretty smooth year, and I don't know if that has to do with the COVID situation or because we're not slower. So
you pared down a little bit, didn't you?
we did, and we scaled back up a little bit. I mean, my ideal position was, I really wanted to run around like 50 guys, clean, mean, not take on as much jobs, because it was just getting a little too stressful. And I was starting not really to like it anymore. So we're scaled back up a little bit. I mean, we're like at 80 men right now again, and it's smooth. But I'm gonna see what happens this year, and then kind of take it from there.
Who's responsible for taking from the sales guy and figuring out from this sales thing how many gallons of paint I need, how many how's that translation happen?
So that would be it with our field manager. So one of our 4 field managers, would get assigned the job. So he might have right now probably 6 to 7 jobs a piece on our field managers. So, that's on him. That's completely on him.
So he's looking at the work order for a project and going, okay, the color is this, the sheen product is this. I got to figure out.
With help from Allison from the client relations side, paint schedules. If we don't have a solid paint schedule, we'll put it in our template. If it's from a designer or whatnot. But yeah. Then laminated signs get made. That's Allison's role. So living room, you have ceiling walls, trim, sheen, level, color on a laminated sign. No tape on the windows. We used to put tape on the windows and write it. Is that a 6 or a 9? So it's really clean, nice, professional, laminated, per room on new construction.
Room, and there's the whole paint schedule for that room is there.
Yes, on a laminated sign just for that room. Then we'll have an overall, paint schedule, but we do it by room on laminated signs. They're clean.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're nice.
So you have a dedicated guy who sits in the shop and barcode scans in product and barcode scans out product and equipment.
Correct.
That is mind-blowing to many of us guys. Like the idea of having a little bit of overhead is one thing. There's a man who's responsible to just dole out equipment and
it's a huge job. It's $1,200 a week. It's $1,200 a week, plus benefits and raise time off. It's I would think it's one of the more important jobs, for me. I mean, we're not buying $30,000 a year in materials. I mean, last year we spent over $1 million with Rings End. We're buying, 700 in Moors and about 350 in fine paints. So, it's a big job. I mean, just our sundries alone, I mean, I think, if we're good on sundries, I'm going to put another $60,000 in my pocket a year. Easy.
Yeah.
So, it's a big job.
Just everything being barcoded and scanned in and out. You have more supplies than the Sherwin-Williams down the street does.
Oh yeah, my inventory system and my whole setup it's a paint store. It's a paint store.
Yeah, that's
we have par stocks. We have par stocks on tape and everything. I mean
So that's a stock. So your barcode system is connected to Rings End, so they know when to.
We tried that. I didn't love it. It was too much. So basically, we just own it. So we put in a shop order. Usually we try to do it once a week. And that's not. We don't only get from Rings End, but yeah. I mean, it's basically once a week from Rings. Everybody else, it's par stock, so they'll just have to order it, Don John or whatever suppliers we're getting online and stuff like that.
the size of company that you have gives you extreme leverage when negotiating prices, right?
Yes, 100%. You know, Rings End is a first class operation, and I wouldn't really be able to be as successful as I am without them. You know, our manager, where we're getting all our paint from, I mean, I think he's got 2 guys dedicated to Shoreline. You know, and he oversees everything. Tons of custom colors. I mean, you know, custom matches, stain matches. I mean, they're on it. So I don't beat them up. I mean, I expect good pricing, and, you know, I know they need to make a certain, you know, point on it, you know. So I'm not going to beat them up, but, you know, they do the right thing. You know, we partner together on a bunch of stuff. You know, it's a really, really good relationship.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said that you have a hospitality and management background. Do you think a lot of that, what you learned there, you apply today in what you do?
I mean, from a you know, from a human perspective, yes, absolutely. From a you know, pure business perspective, no. I mean, you know, we are in the customer service business, so, you know, I think that has a lot to do with it. But you know, it's 2 completely different fields. But, you know, yeah, definitely from sales and, you know, just from a human level, you know, I think it's, you know, definitely helped.
Yeah, because so you said your dad was great at sales. You're obviously great at sales. You're selling 5 million plus a year.
And enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah. So how does your estimating process work? Because I would imagine, I know a little bit, but I want you to explain it. Because if you were to go to every job and break every job down with a pen and paper and measure everything to the foot, like the way when you start small, you're like, oh, okay, this, I got $34 for this over here. That doesn't seem very effective as you go to what?
Yeah, so we have a couple different ways that we estimate. I actually have a full-time estimator in my office that only estimates plans, also gets our proposals out as soon as we send it to him. So basically, he's in the office. You know, our clients that were basically did an estimate of 10, they're getting their proposal by 10:15, and we're not doing it. You know, all our templates are in. You know, so I got a guy doing that all day long. And does all the sales guys' proposals, sends them out.
How important is, before we go farther, how important is it that you get your bids to people quickly?
I think I land a lot of jobs because of that. You know, I mean, we're there. I mean, sometimes by the time I'm pulling out of the driveway, they have it. You know, and you know, I what's up, buddy? I'm doing something. I'm gonna come play with you in a little bit. All right. All right. So he, what were we saying? Sorry.
So that quick turnaround time, and I'm interested in that, and I'm just like your whole presentation.
Yeah, you know, so we use a proposal based software. It's called Proposify. We have, you know, 60 different templates in there. You know, basically it's already done for you. You're just plugging and playing at that point. And we're able to see, you know, how long our client looked at it. They jumped right to the fee table. You know, did they even look at the scope of work we're proposing? So we're getting valid intel from that. But yeah, I mean, basically our process is I go out and estimate it, or one of the sales guys does. Some of the guys use Asana to send in their proposals. I don't like it. It's just, I don't do it. I'm sure I've tried it. It's just, it lags. And so I actually send all of my proposals through WhatsApp to my guy in the office. Just easy, just really easy. He's got it in one place. It's one chat and, you know, pictures, everything. He takes that, uploads it immediately and, you know, sends it out. So yeah, it's pretty quick. It's really quick. There's not a time, unless there's something wrong with an email address or something like that. I mean, that our clients shouldn't have their proposals immediately. And I don't want my sales guys being bogged down doing that on site. I know there, you know, a lot of guys, you know, will do that on site and, you know, they'll sit there and it'll take them an hour to do, you know, no, I want my sales guys out there concentrating, selling, moving to the next appointment, managing their clients. That's basically what we got.
So when you show up to a job to estimate it, how does that go from you showing up to the time you call or send a WhatsApp thing? What does that process look like?
Well, it's funny right now. I mean, we're not even meeting with anybody. It's bizarre, it's not ringing the doorbell and, saying, hi, Mrs. Jones, so my office staff's doing a great job with that. Our sales guys will not be meeting with clients right now. We're happy to call you while we're there. I've met with a couple clients that want to meet, but I'll make sure I'm the one that's going to do that. But yeah, it's bizarre right now. I mean, I was on an estimate the other day with a lady on the phone walking. She was inside her house, walking around the house, and I was, walking around the outside. It was bizarre.
So how do you look at a job? What does it go from the time you look at it to the time you put a price on it? How does that calculation work?
How am I bidding it?
Yeah.
You want to talk about exterior paint job?
Yeah.
I mean, exterior paint job, I'm mostly bidding it by the man day. And then, figuring the scope out, what we're going to do. And, but yeah, mostly, on-site bidding is done. Exteriors are done by man day.
So that comes from you having experience looking at jobs. So because I know you look at a job and you put a number on it and like, what?
Quick. I can do it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do it so many times. I mean, listen, if you don't know how many men it's going to take to paint that house, you shouldn't be in the business. So, if I just think it's the easiest way to price something, and if you have, 10 of these estimates in a day, I mean, you're going to measure linear foot on trim on a, 6,000 square foot house, which is not going to happen. So, if you can't price it by a man day, and know your cost of what your men cost and what you want to charge a client, I mean, we're in the business of selling labor. So, you probably shouldn't be in the business. Yeah, I mean, I could look at a house and tell you it's, 87 men and, I want it done in 70 and, but yeah, it's basically by man day. We shoot a man day as 8 hours.
And I'm guessing that you would rather like maybe not be perfectly accurate on one, but be profitable over all of them and get more in.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I mean, listen, if you, it took one of my sales guy that does like 2.2 a year to grasp it, but he's not a construction guy, not a paint guy, he's got a master's in business, was my college roommate actually.
Yeah.
And he can price stuff. I mean, he'll send me pictures and be like, how many guys, and what he had it at and what I had it. And he's really good. My operations director is excellent at it too. My operations director could be one of our best sales guys. He'll hit the man day 10 out of 10 times. We're not losing on a man day, estimate.
The way that you've trained that, especially for your new guys, it starts with an A. What's his name? Michael. Never mind.
Yeah.
Michael. He came in, he didn't have experience.
Yeah.
He started estimating jobs, and then you were looking at how his jobs that he estimated and sold, how they performed versus what he estimated. And then he came down and go, oh crap, I underbid that job.
Yeah.
And then he does some sort of homework to understand why he did.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you haven't gone through pretty much every job, I mean, we're not going to uncover something that, on an exterior paint job that we don't know is coming, basically. I mean, it's one thing if you bid a job that had, 200 taped in lights that you were supposed to do and you didn't, account for, 200 taped in lights, you just lost $15,000. So, I think something like that, but from an exterior painting standpoint, I mean, I can't see any of our people missing anything. Our carpentry's done T&M. We're going to give you a ballpark allowance, a do not exceed number. And it's $65 an hour plus hard costs and materials. So we give our clients really good deal on carpentry because we don't want them bringing another company in. So we have a couple carpenters on staff, go out and fix fascias, rakes, whatever it is. So from an exterior standpoint, we don't miss.
It just, Since the first time I've ever met you, what struck me was how just like a matter of fact you are about all this stuff. And coming from a guy who can overanalyze things to death, it's inspiring to just be like, you know your stuff because you've done it, practiced it, refined it. But it's just like every time I talk to you, everyone will say like, just do it, like just like go on and do it. And there's something about like not overcomplicating this whole thing that I think that is one of your most genius attributes, is not overcomplicating everything.
Well, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's you know, there's some aspects of my company that are complicated. You know, doing a perfect high gloss wall is complicated. You know, I don't care who's doing it. It's complicated. You know, exterior painting is not complicated for us. You know, we're efficient. You know, new construction painting is not complicated for us. You know, so it's just, yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's that complicated. I really don't.
That comes from just volume in general. Just like you've taken a lot of pitches, so you figured out how to hit.
Yeah, I think that definitely. I mean, you know, I think that's a good analogy, Zach. But I also think that, you know, it's really just not that complicated. We're painting. I mean, you know, we're painting at a high end level, yeah, but we're painting. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I love talking to you every time because it's rubbing off and it's helping life. Someone asked, how does sales commission on jobs work when someone underbids the job?
How does sales commission work on a job when someone underbids the job? Yeah, so you got to hit a threshold on GP. So, you know, our threshold's 40%.
Or you don't get commission for that sale.
0.
Great answer. So then you have your sales guy, your whole, I mean, to run an organization your size, everyone has to sort of get along, right? They're all pulling.
I actually got news for you. I got no sales guys on commission right now.
Oh, all right.
And I like it.
That's interesting. How are they incentivized?
Salary.
Okay.
Salary. I don't mind putting a sales guy on commission, you know, but right now I presently don't have anybody on commission.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I like that.
Yeah.
So you have leverage. You're taking really great care of them and saying like, go perform, or you just don't have a job.
One of my sales guys drives a 2019 brand new Denali truck.
Yeah. So they get taken and that's something I think that's true for everybody in your organization. You take care of the people who perform. And
well, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, our core group, I mean, is you know, is everything. It's, you know, could I do it by myself? Yeah, you know, I could do this business by myself. I'd be working like a dog, and you know, it wouldn't be that fun. I wouldn't want to be as big as I am. I can tell you that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the most important things. You know, like I said, hiring my mom was probably one of the smarter things I ever did. You know, bringing someone in, and if it wasn't my mom, you know, I'm just using her as an example, but, you know, 25-year corporate background towards the end of their career, you know, took a severance and, you know, doesn't need to work, but, you know, is bored. And, you know, she's excellent, you know, and, you know, the people that we've put in place, you know, like Allison and Michael and Antonio and my field managers, it's, you know, we're blessed. We really are. You know, everyone's a big team, and, you know, we all work great together. But, you know, I'm also not like a Gestapo, you know?
Yeah. So having great people, like I think that just, it goes without saying, you have to have great people to have a great company. How about the painters in the field? How do you find them? How do you train them? What is that whole thing looking like?
You know, so I've kind of, I was involved in that when I first, you know, came on board, but I really leave that to, you know, my operations team. You know, we have a very low turnover rate, very low. So, you know, he's in the, I mean, he's been here 25 years, right? So he just, you know, we know all the good painters, we know all the good painting companies, all the, you know, everybody knows each other, you know, in this world here. So, you know, I think people want to work for Shoreline. You know, we're definitely known as the premier painting company in Fairfield and Westchester County, without a doubt. So, you know, why wouldn't you want to work for the best, right?
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's a huge asset that you have is your reputation. And so when you talk about a lot of this stuff, it's like some people might hear like having to like the ability to go look at a job and then call somebody else to have them send that estimate, right? You have to have a certain volume to be able to make that make sense. You also have to have enough leads in the queue to keep someone busy all day doing estimates. How do you keep that queue? Is it all based off referral? Do you?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, most of my estimates, I mean, are my connections, are the people that I work with on a, you know, on a daily basis. So most of the money that comes in is not from, you know, from, at least from my end. You know, I would say 80% of it is, that's Brunello, by the way, guys, my new dog. It's probably, you know, 80% of my connections in my day to day, you know, versus, you know, online estimates. You know, I don't really do those.
So this is a trend that's happening with all of these shows and all of these successful contractors. It's the relationship that you build and maintain that keep feeding you over time.
Absolutely. You know, and it's also your performance, right? I mean, you know, if my company's not going to perform, you know, they're not going to call me. I mean, we perform, you know, day in and day out for, you know, high-end contractors and designers, you know, time and time again. So, you know, that's kind of what we built.
Yeah, you're a predictable entity. You've proven over time. Call short to get it done. I don't have to worry.
Absolutely.
And there's such an advantage to that. That takes a lot of time. You know, some of the people watching are younger contractors starting out. What advice would you have to young contractors starting out, trying to build to the point where they have the reputation of a Shoreline? Like, how do you do that?
Hustle. I hustled. You know, I took $0 in sales in 7 years, turned it into 5 million. I mean, through my own connections. And so, yeah, I mean, hustle.
Yeah.
You know, get to work.
Trying to make connections. How do you build a relationship with a GC that you've never worked for?
It's tough, you know. I mean, they have a painter, right? They've been doing this for a long time. You know, it's tough. Yeah, you got to get them to give you your first shot. You know.
Have you given lower price the first time to get in the door to show them what you can do?
Never.
Oh, that's not the answer I was hoping you'd say.
No. You know, listen, if someone doesn't see your worth, you know, then you're not selling it right.
Yeah.
You know, why would you lower your worth, you know, I mean, listen, I guess that's one way to try to get a job. No, but I don't like that sales move at all.
That's what I did to get what I've got.
Right.
Because no one had ever heard of me. I didn't have any body of work. I needed my first gloss door, right? I was willing to do a gloss door for free at some point. Mm-hmm. So if somebody was willing to pay me a fraction of what I wanted to charge, I was like, hey, I'll take that. Now, hey, I got a gloss door. I know how to do this. It costs this.
Not a bad move on a door. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, we painted a door and put it in Rings End's, you know, door showroom. You know, sick red. It's beautiful. You know, we've gotten tons of doors off it. So, yeah, stuff like that, yeah. I mean, when you said full job, you know, I'm thinking like, you know.
So, tell us, what's your average project dollar?
What kind?
Let's say new construction.
New construction, our average ticket's probably
200,000.
Yes.
It's all like again, no nonsense. Like the numbers that you talk about to a lot of people is crazy to think of. You know, a lot of guys will do 200. Would be happy to do 200,000.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, we're painting massive homes, you know, with tons of millwork, you know, detailed millwork, you know, I see like a lot of these like, you know, jobs that people post on Instagram, on like this Facebook painting contractors group, and like we're not doing anything like that. Like these jobs are like insane, you know, they're $20 million bills.
Yeah. with
you
really,
know.
really high standards.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, it's perfection. Yeah, there's no, you know, yeah. I mean, you're dealing with a guy, you know, that's got serious money, you know. So you're not, you know, yeah, and he wants it perfect. I mean, most of our jobs, our new construction jobs, unless they're like a, you know, $2 to $3 million spec home, you know, where it doesn't have to be perfect and, you know, just needs to be decent. But our custom home projects, I mean, we finished one this year. It was $1 million.
To paint the house.
Yeah. Yeah. 18,000 square feet, you know, trimmed to the nines.
I want to talk about Fine Paints of Europe gloss projects a little
All
bit.
right. Sure.
Talk about plaster. I saw
Okay.
$100,000 line item for plaster on one of your projects.
Yeah.
I want to hear how that happens.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to sign off because we're about to run out of time. So before we do, I'm just going to end this, start a new one, join it, and we'll keep going.
Okay.
All right.